The Earnestly Speaking podcast is a show that is founded on free-flowing conversation and may at times venture into mature subjects. Listener discretion is advised.
Yeah, Earnestly Speaking podcast. Let's get it. I'm a giant in New York, in Miami carry heat. So much more in store, my product can flood the street. Opinion Nation Godfather, CEO. Off in the late 90s, gon' see me blow. Oh. Got my hustle on, no imitation of that. Army of untouchables, Opinion Nation staff. Never an off season, homie, check the numbers. Heart throbbing my own right, supplying southern comfort. Earnestly speaking, my ego is well fed. Earnestly speaking, you're too feeble and no threat. See, I'm like a hurricane, you're a mild breeze. Earnestly speaking, leaving Eli a dynasty. Shake!
First Week Podcast. Recording this Wednesday, September 24th, 2025. It has been about a year since we spoke to this guy on the show. My man, sports journalist. I hate to say this, former sports radio host. I mean, hopefully one day you'll get back on there. We miss you. Steve Bortstein with us.
The world's not ready for that. The world
brother,
is conspired against me.
I keep telling you, brother, just do a podcast, man.
I'm doing a podcast. I'm doing your podcast.
No, right. I'm saying do your own. I told you when you were doing...
I don't have time. I'm raising kids. I've got a full-time job covering high school sports here in the beautiful middle of nowhere in Northwest New Mexico. It's a full-time thing, and I'm happy. I there isn't a day that goes by though that I don't miss the day-to-day, nonsense of sports talk radio. And thank God, for outlets like this, I appreciate the fact that your opening intro there says may have inappropriate subject matter, because we might. Yeah. And
people already know this show. We go all the place. People already know this show.
I miss it every day. I do. I miss it every single day. And people like you and Jordan. I know we'll talk about Jordan Buscarini here in a moment. People like you guys are the future, and thank God for you guys, because you keep it real, and that's what
I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Now, speaking of Jordan Buscarini, you obviously you heard about the story. This is the wackiest story ever. I'm still 2 months later, I get goosebumps about that. The most randomness, serendipitous encounter ever. Now, he was on the show actually a couple weeks ago, about a month ago, and we talked about it a little bit.
Right.
And it's still shocking the way that played out. Like, I'm literally, I live in Florida. I'm literally in Disney on my we do the annual family trip for the weekend before we go to school starts again and all that, and happened to be where I'm in a spot I wasn't supposed to be at because we had plans to go on another ride. And we decided to go on this ride, and I don't know where he spots me, and I don't know how he spotted me because I wasn't even noticeable because I was wearing because it's so hot that day, number one, and I'm bald, obviously. So I was wearing that whole day. What the name of what you call it to put over your head? Cooling towel.
Hat.
It's a cooling towel. A cooling towel. No, cooling towel. No, not a hat. Not a hat. Yeah. I wish it was a hat, but it was a cooling towel. So for him to see me, he would have had to really pull me out. And he said what sold him was a black guy Metallica t-shirt. That's EJ.
And that is exactly what I thought the minute I saw the photo of you two. And I didn't want to say that because, it's inappropriate, but what the hell? I thought to myself, when Jordan sent me the picture of the two of you, I go, he's the only black guy in Florida probably wearing a Metallica shirt at Disney World. There's no, obviously he found you. There's no, that would have been my only clue. That would have been like finding me wearing, I don't know, something German someplace, whatever. I would have been the only one doing that, So no, I thought it was great. I think that's amazing that, in the entire country, there's hundreds of millions of people, and you two happen to be in the same place at the exact same time. I thought that was phenomenal.
With our families too. I met his wife, I met his kids, I met his dad. I was there with my wife, my kids, also my friends that came along with us also too. It was cool but bittersweet in a sense too, because the couple minutes we had a chance to talk, I realized he had gotten there 2 days before. I was there the day after. We were actually in the same place also the day before that at a water park. Okay, so even that was serendipitous, but I obviously didn't see him at the time. So I feel bad because had I known he was in town, I would have made it a point to hang out with him actually and get a drink and actually spend time, get dinner or something. You know what I mean? I'm one of those kind of people. You know what I mean? So I feel really bad. So I told him next time you go to Disney World or I go to Disney World, I will make sure that you know I'm in the park just in case you happen to be there. So
no, well, and let's be honest here. When's the first or last time you're going to find yourself in Price, Utah?
Probably not. Although I did no. Although my sister and her family, they want every year, 2 years, they do go to Utah to ski every year.
Okay,
a family trip, and we had discussed actually about 2 years ago, my sister and I, about possibly maybe me, my wife, and my kids joining them one day on those trips. So that same day when we're discussing that, I literally texted Jordan, asked him how far is Price from where they skate or ski rather, and he said about 2.5 3 hours. So, so
everything is 2.5 3 hours apart in Utah,
isn't it?
Yeah, everything, yeah.
No, right. But the thing is, like, it was cool though, man. And like I said, I told him when I'm in Disney again and whatever, and I'd love to hang out with you. He's a good dude. I mean, again, doing this medium as long as I have, we're approaching 15 years doing the podcast. How life changing it's been for me, and it's not just a sports show where when I started the show I want to talk about sports and just get my takes off it. Now it's bigger than that. Now it's a place to commune and to have good conversation and discourse and talk about what the fuck you want, man. It's great.
Well, and you're
part of that too also.
And that was the whole point of when I first started the radio show. I know we have 100 things to talk about. When I first started my radio show in New Mexico, back in 2000, and God, it's been 17 years I was doing it, 2003. It was the hot take show. That was how it started. And then, and you and I have talked about this before, and then a TV show kind of motivated me to change it up a little bit. It was a TV show called The Newsroom. And it motivated me and it kind of inspired me to, instead of it just being the people are going to call in and give their takes and I'm going to yell at them sort of thing, it became a show with guests and it became a show with experts talking about things that maybe I had a difference of opinion or they had a difference of opinion with me and what have you. And we changed the show around completely. And it was at first met with some reluctance, but then people really catered to it. And I found Jordan, I found you, I found guys like Larry Pepe who cover the UFC and just amazing people who brought something to the table that was desperately needed and is still desperately needed. And that is a difference of opinion and the ability to have those conversations without it resorting to a shouting match, without it resorting to, name calling, without it resorting to yelling and screaming, which has become, unfortunately, far too common in sports talk radio and on avenues like ESPN and Fox.
I never thought I'd say this, though, and maybe because I was too young at the time to appreciate it. I miss the sports reporters.
I miss the sports reporters. I miss what's the show with the four people? What was that called?
The damn sports show?
No. The one on ESPN with the Tony Reali hosted it, and he went to Woody Cage.
Around the Horn?
Around the Horn.
I liked it. That's cool.
I was an Around the Horn fan because it wasn't a shouting match. It wasn't. It was playful, and they had an opinion, and they didn't rip into each other. I miss the sports reporters. I'm glad that PTI is still on the air, although I'm assuming that because it's relevant and because it's socially comfortable that it's probably going to last on ESPN for another 6 months or so, before they decide to turn it off and give Pat McAfee another free hour of airtime so that he can just vomit all over my airwaves.
I mean, I don't hate the guy. I don't hate the guy, but I mean, I'm burnt out on McAfee a little bit.
I'm done. I'm done with
Well, for me, for me though, because I watch wrestling too also, so I get him on both ends.
Right.
Okay. A little overexposed. Same as Stephen Smith. overexposure.
Oh, I'm done with it. I mean, thank God I don't have to deal with Skip Bayless anymore, but or Shannon Sharp.
He's an independent now, though. You can listen to this podcast.
I know, but that's the thing. Like, at least I don't have to.
True.
I miss the days of, like, I like the Dan Patrick show. I like the Rich Eisen show. I like shows where it's just a conversation.
I totally agree with you, man. I totally agree with you. We want to start first. We want to talk about the Charlie Kirk stuff, Jimmy Kimmel stuff. I mean, we can just go there now.
The Charlie Kirk thing is interesting, I guess, and from a non-sports perspective. Look, I mean, the reaction. Look, first things first. Obviously, it's terrible what happened to this man. It's terrible what happened to his wife. It's terrible what happened to their two
Correct.
children.
Yes,
that is unconscionable, and no one, at least in my world, is supporting something like that. No one.
Right.
But there is a part of me that if this is going to be your mantra, if gun rights are going to be your thing, and that's the hill you're willing to die on, then that's the hill you're willing to die on. And
I mean,
there is a part of that, you know. He didn't do anything wrong except have an opinion. And, if we're just going to start gunning down people, and I know, and off the subject here, you are losing your mind right now watching the Mets fall behind 5-0.
I took an edible earlier today. I'm good.
I'm
calm right now.
I'm watching it right here with you, my man, and I feel you.
It's bad. It's so bad, bro. It's so. I mean, come on. The sense of urgency or lack of on this team is mind numbing. Okay,
trust me. I'm wearing sense of urgency doesn't matter right now. We'll get to that in a minute. But
yeah,
the Jimmy Kimmel part of it. Look, that was poorly timed on everyone's part. It was poorly timed on the administration's part. It was poorly timed on the Disney part. It was poorly timed on the Jimmy Kimmel part. There is no appropriate way or inappropriate way to mourn a public figure without someone getting their ass in a bind about it. There is no way to do it, especially someone who has gone out of his way to make himself sort of the center of attention. So the reaction to the Jimmy Kimmel thing, and that's what he does. That's what his job is. His job as a late night talk show host. Go back to the days of Johnny Carson. Go back to the days of David Letterman. Their jobs were to stir the pot. That's what they were there for. They were the pioneers of it. So to suddenly come up with this idea that, it can't be appropriate anymore. Did you not watch Saturday Night Live in the 1970s? I mean, all they did was make fun of politicians. That was 50 years ago. Turn on an episode of All in the Family and see if that passes the censors today.
That will not pass.
That
will not pass the smell test 2025. Not so ever. It's a great show for the record. Now,
it's not getting on network TV.
I don't think we're getting a pilot. Honestly, we keep it.
Yeah, it's not even making it. It's not making it to the director's room.
No. A lot of people on the right.
I guess for me. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, sorry. A lot of people on the right, what they say about the whole thing with the talk show hosts and whatnot, they say that the complaint they always use is that, well, he's very political, like night show, like political. Like they would say that late night hosts weren't as political as they are now. And I kind of disagree with that, to be honest with you. Maybe
I remember watching Johnny Carson when I was a kid, and he'd make fun of everyone. I mean, look, and the fact of the matter is this, and let's just relate this now to the Charlie Kirk thing. And again, no offense to what he was about. He wasn't a politician.
Right.
He was a guy who had a lot of money and a loud platform.
He was an activist.
From a purely journalistic standpoint, look up the word assassination. It generally is someone who is political, who is in the political arena. It's not Joe Blow. And with the exception of him having a lot of money, with the exception of him having a voice, and with the exception of him having not really a place in the administration officially. He's a guy. Yes, it's a horrible thing that happened to him, but we use these terms. I use this thing a lot about what we call, the bravery of being out of range.
Yeah.
Things that are now called breaking news are not breaking news. Donald Trump tweeting something is not breaking news. And we do this with with words, and certain words will get our collective anger going. And Charlie Kirk was good at that. Again, it's unfortunate what happened. It's unfortunate the reaction has created this, this absolute shitstorm that's going on right now. And I'm glad that somewhat cooler heads have prevailed. I'm glad he found himself back on the air. I treated the return of Jimmy Kimmel the way I've treated every night with Jimmy Kimmel from the beginning. I watched about a minute and a half and I moved on with my life. I didn't watch the show to begin with. I didn't even know who the hell Charlie Kirk was until the day he was murdered on television.
Really?
I had no idea who he was.
Yeah, you gotta be more into like the political cesspool.
You gotta be in that. You gotta be in that. You gotta be in that world. And I have gone out of my way to not be in that world.
And I've kind of and you know this, right? Because we spoke on this in the past, and when we come to the show, that I do dabble in that world a little bit. I've backed away since the election. I backed away a lot. Since then, just because of my mental health. I look, I love politics, man. But when it gets to the point that the people you agree with are fighting with you, I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna step back a little bit now.
Yeah, I posted a thing on Facebook the other day.
Yeah,
about my most recent experience on going to Twitter. So I wrote it in a kind of humorous sort of way.
Yeah.
Imagine going to a used car lot.
Yeah.
And you're not going to buy anything, but you just want to look around for a bit.
Yeah.
But you realize that every car you pass is visibly damaged, and the people that are selling you cars are just unconscionable liars. Now, imagine, if you will, you're still on the used car lot and you're walking around for a few minutes and you realize that you're walking around in a river of human shit and sewage. That's Twitter.
Yep. You actually explained it perfectly, actually.
That's Twitter to a fault. And I'm not going to call it X because I don't want to disparage the 23rd letter in the alphabet or 24th letter in the. I don't want to disparage it that way. I'm going to call it Twitter because I missed the bird. That was how. That's sort of how I view Twitter, and I go there infrequently at best. I go there to, post links to stories that are relevant to people that are not in my local area, and that's about it. And I go there with that intent purely, and then I go away because I have no desire to just have an hour of my life ruined, by scrolling through, mountains of crap. I'm not interested. I remember when social media used to be grandma's recipes and pictures of other people's annoying cats
and food.
I remember the old days, and I miss the old days.
I try to create that in my Instagram, for example. So I try to create an environment of like, okay, you know what? I mean, we can talk politics once in a while, but as long as we're like having a good discourse, which I try to create. Yeah. But otherwise, I stupid shit about sports.
Yeah, it's
music
nonsense. It's nonsense. Yeah. I write and talk about dumb things like home runs and touchdowns and the Cubs beating the Mets 5-0 right now. So I write about. I had to.
Hopefully, by the time this recording is over, they come back like they did last night. Hopefully, we'll see.
Exactly. But that's what we do. We write and talk about dumb things. We write and talk about things that aren't supposed to create that kind of division and that kind of anger and that kind of discontent. It's an escape. And unfortunately, there are times when, politics gets involved in it. And that's just as much media's fault as it is the participants' fault sometimes, because we make more of it than it should be. Like Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce got engaged, and everyone went ballistic because she's this and she's that and he's this, and I'm like, the word congratulations is all you need to say and move on.
Thank you. Or don't say anything.
Just move on. Yeah,
seriously.
But that's the world we're in now.
The worst part too, also the most annoying part about this whole Charlie Kirk thing, though, for me, is the reaction immediately where, okay, so he gets murdered, right? And the first reaction is that, it's a leftist, it's a left-leaning guy. And then and then on the other side, when you find out the day after that the guy might be actually a right-wing guy, the left plays the whole same game. And then the right is like, oh no, but he got radical. How about this? How about who gives a fuck?
He was murdered by a sociopath.
Right. He was a human being, taxpaying human being who made an individual decision as an individual to do this. Whether he's left or right shouldn't even come out of people's mouth. I don't give a shit. He's still a scumbag. So what is this idea, this feeling of people to having to score political points online? It's so stupid, dude. It's beyond dumb. And
Charlie Kirk was murdered by a sociopath. Period.
Right.
End of story. Yeah. We'll move on.
And the worst part is these people are trying. These people in their 40s, some of them in the 50s. Like, bro,
60s.
Come on. Yeah, you have kids and grandkids. Grow the fuck up. Seriously.
And
you're defending people, and you're defending parties that wouldn't even spit on you or piss on you for on fire. Why the fuck are you doing this, bro?
Yeah,
defend the red and blue.
Because it doesn't cost anything to type in words on a platform. It doesn't cost you anything. It doesn't cost you a nickel. Imagine if Facebook made you pay for every post. Imagine if you had to pay a monthly charge for Facebook. 99.1% of those people would drop out of sight.
That will funnel out a lot.
Well, I don't want to. First, they would bitch and moan because it's taking away our free speech. Well, first off, that's not a valid argument. Second, you have you'd have to pay now to post an opinion, and when your opinion when your opinion doesn't cost anything, it's about as efficient and about as effective as anything else that's free. You get what you pay for.
Do you see a world where we go that way? Do you see a world where my home run might have took upstairs and now 6-0? Oh my god! Do you see a world?
I didn't want to say anything. I'm just watching with you.
Do you see a world where social media companies start charging, and not just I'm talking about beyond tiers now. Like I do pay for Twitter right now, currently, for now anyway, because it helps my podcast, because I'm able to post my shows and I get good numbers in there. But I could see a world where maybe not so much right now, but down the road, where companies are charging now, where there is no longer a free tier either. There's and if the free tier might exist, it's not going to be a free tier where it's very, very basic things to do on there. I see a world where some of these companies might just say, we're done with the bullshit, we're going to charge, and that's it. I can see it.
I can see it, but it's going to be difficult to maintain it on an international thing, dealing with different currencies, dealing with different, countries and their platforms and whatever. But I would love to see a world where one day, pick a day. It could be August 22nd, whatever. It could be February 12th, whatever. And that is a day that is exclusively social media free. For 24 hours, social media turns off. It's going to be the nicest day in the world. It's going to be beautiful outside, and people are going to breathe the fresh air, and they're going to hear birds singing in the sky, and they're going to go outside and maybe see a tree, or maybe they're going to call their mother, maybe they're going to call their kid, maybe they're going to do something other than just sitting there, scratching their ass and posting something irrelevant.
And then you're required to touch grass.
And you're required to go outside. You are required
get
to
sunlight,
actually go
touch
outside, and not only go outside. You are required to speak to another human being.
Yep, and be nice.
And be nice. Like I remember getting shit for this back in 2020. We had during COVID when everything was shut down. Some friends of mine and I, we would go take a walk in the park, and we'd all gather together, sometimes with masks, sometimes with not. Oh my God, how dangerous. And we had these. I remember one day we were walking across the bridge, and these two old women were walking across. We weren't wearing masks, but they were, and they were screaming at us about how we were socialists and blah, blah, blah. And I went on this kick about changing the meaning of the word socialism. Let's change, because in my mind, being social is socialism. It's the act of being social.
That's true.
I'm going to be a socialist. I'm going to be sociable with people. I'm going to go out and talk to people. And I got such crap for that because people just didn't understand. Like, well, I want to bitch and moan. Go ahead. I don't. I want to be nice to you for an hour.
I think people need to have more sex also, too. Seriously. No, seriously. People
I'm married. I don't know anything about that anymore. No.
I'm just saying, dude. People need to start, really getting back and just get normal again, bro. Seriously, it's so stupid.
I agree completely. I agree.
Yeah, but like I feel like these events will normally supposed to unite us, and then, dude, these events are just only dividing us anymore. COVID dividing us. It doesn't matter. A random school shooting here. Now this situation. Nah. Is this worsening?
I'm fascinated when I can just sit home. My wife's at work. I've covered a local game, and I can come home, watch a Dodger baseball game, curse under my breath when the Dodgers blow another lead, or, pump my fist when the Dodgers actually don't blow a lead, and watch a football game on a Saturday or Sunday afternoon, and I can just move on with my life.
Simple's better, buddy. As I get older, I realize, all the technology we have now and all the access we have now, bro, simple's better. Let's keep it simple. I'll be home on my days off from work. I'm home watching my games. That's all I need, bro. I'm good. I'm good.
I'm totally fine. Totally fine.
Are you stunned that Disney brought back Kimmel?
No. I'm stunned that I'm stunned that it took as long as it did. I mean, I'm stunned they did anything at all because, I mean, honestly, why are we? I don't want this to turn too political, but why are we bending the knee for this guy? Why? What is he gonna do? What's he possibly gonna do that we haven't already experienced the first time around? So why are we now all of a sudden we're catering to this guy?
It's a gateway to power. I don't get it. It's a gateway to power.
Well, enjoy it because I don't think it's going to last. I don't think we're coming towards the end of the world. I know I see all the posts about, this is going to be fascism. It's going to be this. It's not going to be any of that because in 2 or 3 or 4 years from now, someone's going to come up with someone better and someone's going to come along and they're going to get pissed and the other side's going to get pissed and everyone's going to get all into a flutter. And we're all going to be fine. I think we just need to tone down the rhetoric, tone down the anger, cool things off a little bit, have a tall, cold, frosty beer on a Saturday afternoon, and watch a football game, and everything's going to be fine.
Go outside, touch grass, go on social media, have more sex. That's what I'm saying. This do everything but
listen to an album. Turn on your favorite band on a Tuesday afternoon, driving to nowhere, and and get have a joint and move on. Yeah.
Thank you, bro. Thank you. NFL season 4. It's only 3 weeks though, but what stood out to you NFL year?
So every year I've kind of gotten into this phase now of picking a team, just a random team that I'm going to follow, and I'm going to be real interested in what they're doing. And I usually base it off watching games the year prior, and okay, this team looks interesting, and this and that. Mm-hmm. And so right around August 1st, I was like, okay, I've got my team for the 2025 season. I'm all in on this team. I'm going to root for them and see how far they can go. And the first 2 weeks of the season were great. They won their first 2 games. They weren't pretty, but they won their first 2 games. And I'm like, okay, go Arizona Cardinals. And then Sunday, it all went to shit because James Conner has a knee injury that looks like he's going to be like, deactivated for the rest of his life. They lose the game to San Francisco on a last second field goal, and they're done. Like, that's the end of that.
So Arizona was yours?
That was my Arizona was my team.
I think mine this year was who's mine this year? I locked into. I was like, I'm really into this team. Not the Colts. No, not the Colts. Shoot, I forgot. Was it Detroit? No, it wasn't Detroit. There was a team I remember saying on a podcast. I was like, I'm very interested in this team, and I can't remember.
The year before it was Miami, and that worked out well.
Yeah, and it's even worse now. It's even worse now. I mean, I'm like a big Baltimore fan because I love Lamar Jackson. I want to see him get a ring, but it's I don't know, man. It's been a very funny 3 weeks. Like the cream of the crop is cream of the crop. Buffalo, Philly, and whatever. I think Baltimore's fine. I know 1 and 2.
Baltimore's going to be fine. I think Kansas City's going to be fine. I know everyone kind of lost their minds when they went 0-2, but if you go back, if you want to study history a little bit here, when the New England Patriots went to the AFC Championship game, what was it, like 8 years in a row?
Yeah.
In 7 of those years, they started their season 2-2.
Yep.
So the idea that Kansas City is 1-2 now, they're probably going to go 2-2 this weekend. They're fine. Just lay off the whole Kansas City Chiefs are done thing. That's probably not a real thing. I do think Philadelphia is a cut above.
Yeah.
I just have that instinct that Philadelphia is a cut above everyone else. Because the way they came back, and I thought about this from a pure gambling perspective. The Rams went into that game as 1.5-point underdogs at Philly last weekend. And for most of the entirety of that game, if you had bet on the Rams plus 1.5, you were sitting on a gold mine. You were gold the entire game, all the way until at the end. Because normally when the guy blocks the field goal at the end of the game, he falls in the ball, game's over. The Rams still would have covered. No, this guy ran the ball back to the end zone and gave Philadelphia the backdoor cover at the last second.
Sick.
And everyone who bet on the Rams that day, you were going to Aruba until the last second ticked off that clock.
Right. By the way, the team it was actually kind of crazy. Actually, the team I was telling you about earlier was Minnesota. That's the team.
Okay, yeah.
McCarthy
and they're going to be okay. I mean, they're going to. Detroit might be a cut above everyone else too.
Yeah,
Philadelphia and Detroit, because Detroit looks like that's something different going on there.
So my process, for the first 2 weeks was that Green Bay had those 2 impressive wins against Washington and against who's the team that lost? It beat Washington and Detroit. And my process was like, oh well, this is right now my clear number 2 team in the NFC. And then Detroit, these last 2 weeks, after losing Green Bay, has smashed Chicago and beat Baltimore pretty impressively on Monday Night Football on the road.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, I'm like, okay, well, obviously you have to get to Green Bay first because Green Bay did win the head-to-head. But I think when they play again, it's very possible Detroit wins that game. And now what? So I think Detroit's last 2 weeks after that really bad week 1 is definitely intriguing. But yeah, to your point, I think Buffalo's cut ahead. As for KC, here's the thing about KC in the AFC. KC's fine. So is Baltimore. In fact, I'm gonna go and say this right now. The game on Sunday this week, it's not a must win for either team. Either team could lose this weekend, and they'll be fine. Because the AFC right now is not that good. It's not. Think about it.
The AFC is well, and plus the teams that were supposed to contend. Okay. The Chargers might be okay. They might have fallen into.
They're 1-3. Yeah.
You've got Bo Nix, who is going through the sophomore slump right now. They're 1-2 in Denver. You've got Joe Burrow, who's out for the year, probably, or at least most of the year.
To December, at least I said. Yeah.
So I think if you're AFC right now, you're kind of, and Josh Allen, the Buffalo Bills, they're going to be fine. But it's not, they have not been, the teams in the AFC that are atop their respective divisions have not been as dominant as what I've seen from Philadelphia in the NFC East, or as dominant as Detroit in the NFC North. I think those two, I think, like you said, I think the NFC right now has a little bit of an advantage. Again, that'll all change. That can all change by week 9, week 10, week 11, whatever. But I don't look at anything in the AFC, and I do this with baseball too. Like I'm a Dodgers fan, so I look at the National League a lot. But then I watch games in the American League, and I'm like, I don't worry about anybody in the American League. I'm not worried about the Yankees. I'm not worried about Houston. I'm not worried about anybody. I'm more concerned about the National League. But I think we do that with divisions in football and conferences in the National Football League as well. Clearly, the NFC right now has an advantage over the AFC teams. And again, that's all, it's all relative by the time of the year and who's playing who. You can't help who you play in the schedule. But as far as Kansas City is concerned, they're going to be just fine. I did notice that they made a significant change in that game last weekend that they came back and won, is that now Patrick Mahomes isn't running for his life as much anymore. In those first 2 games, Patrick Mahomes was running around like a chicken with his head cut off. And then in the second half of that game last weekend, oh God, that's gone.
It's gone, yeah.
All right. There you go.
Still alive.
All right, there you go. I mean, it's, you're still down 4, but,
Yeah, we got a lot of
that'll work, but it's still a lot of time. I think there's plenty of time in the AFC for things to catch up a little bit. Not worried about Kansas City. I think Buffalo's the cream of the crop in the AFC. I think it's hilarious to watch Pete Carroll on the sidelines with the Raiders and that Tom Brady storyline of, he's not allowed to do this, but he's the minority owner. And like, could Tom Brady and Bill Belichick be any more alike than they are right now? Like, you're still holding on to whatever relevancy you still have left. Yeah. And Tom Brady's trying to, immerse himself in everything in the NFL. And I don't know what the hell Bill Belichick's doing other than dating someone who is clearly eye candy for everyone around North Carolina State or North Carolina University. God bless them. But those are 2 guys who just clearly haven't gotten the message that you need to just go away now. Both Tom and Bill need to go away and find a nice park bench to sit on and look back at the old days.
No, so like I talk about Super Bowl contenders. Like my method of that, my method when I say that is that a Super Bowl contender is a team that I see playing in that conference championship game for their respective conference. So right now in the AFC, in the NFC, I have at least 6, 7 teams. I can see Philly playing in there. I can see Green Bay playing in there. Detroit, San Francisco if they're healthy. Who am I missing here? There's a couple more teams. Washington they were just there last year, so I gotta say Washington. Tampa Bay 6, and the Rams 7. Yeah, Tampa Bay and the Rams. So the 7 teams right there. In the AFC right now, and of course this can change in the weeks to come because the puzzle's still being put together. I can only identify 3. It's the Bills,
Kansas City, Baltimore.
Oh no! I don't have KC. I'll okay. Here's what I'll do with KC. I'll give a wild card 4 for KC only because once they're healthy, things should change. But to me right now, my clear 3 in the AFC: Buffalo. Still Baltimore, despite the loss again, and San Diego.
LA, whatever. Yeah,
right, whatever. Who the fuck?
Yeah, those. I agree. But you can literally have half the NFC and like a third of the AFC,
right?
And that's pretty incredible. Or even a quarter of the AFC.
And coming to the year, the conversation was the other way around.
Yeah.
Like Houston.
So it's a long run in, but I've been impressed. I'll give Baker Mayfield a lot of credit. What he's doing in Tampa Bay is impressive.
He is in the MVP discussion for me.
Yeah, clearly.
Absolutely. Yeah.
What he's done so far has been impressive. And say what you want about Baker Mayfield as a person, or what his first few years were like in the NFL, but he has become born again. That guy. So give him all the props.
Yeah, but the reason why I said this Chiefs Ravens game this week is not a must win for either team and they'll be okay even if they lose. It was because the AFC is so bad. I can see the Ravens are going to probably still win that division because Steelers are not good. The Bengals are banged up. Browns, come on, really? The Chiefs will at least get a wild card. Yeah,
right.
So the Chiefs will at least get a wild card. The Chargers are going to probably win the division, but they'll at least get a wild card because who else are you scared? Who else are you scared of in that conference? Outside
Nobody.
As I mentioned,
nobody.
As I'm saying, so it's wide open. It's wide open. You know, so that's how I feel about that. Speaking of wide open, college football. 1 month in, the national title conversation. Like, pick a team. Good luck.
Oklahoma. And I say this even with their quarterback going down.
Yeah.
Even with their quarterback missing a few weeks, the running backs are good. The defense is good. I like what I've seen from Oklahoma so far. That win against Auburn was impressive.
Yes.
And I give Oklahoma a big look. I even without their quarterback for the next few weeks. Look, Ohio State's a cut above. They're exceptional right now. And I know I'm gonna get shit for saying this. You haven't heard the last of USC yet.
Where are they now?
Not heard the last.
Where are they in AP right now, currently? Where are they in AP right now?
21.
21? So
and they're gonna play Illinois this weekend, and they're gonna beat Illinois because they're banged up. And then it's a showdown against Notre Dame, and they're gonna win that.
You see, Illinois had Illinois won that game against Indiana last week. That would have actually helped them. It had if let's say USC and let's say there's a world that Illinois beat Indiana last week. So other way around. Then you play Illinois this week and you beat them. That's a massive jump into the polls for you guys at that point. But
I don't think I think Lincoln Riley figured out there's a guy that stands behind the quarterback. That's called a running back. And for decades, that's what USC was known for, was their running backs. Going back to the days of Marcus Allen, going back to the days of Reggie Bush, going back to the days of the guy who might have killed the two people. USC was known for their running backs. And now all of a sudden it's like Lincoln Riley realized, wait, we have running backs here and they can run the ball. And now all of a sudden the offense can spread out. They've got receiving threats now. They've got a defense. If they get rolling, and again, the Big Ten Conference is a mess because there's just so many. There's between Penn State and Ohio State. Look, that's a massive undertaking to go through. But if USC can continue to play this the way they're doing right now, they're going to be 8-0 by the time they have to face Ohio State. And that could be a huge matchup.
Is that the only real consequential game in the schedule for USC?
Oregon.
Oh, okay. Yeah, there you go. It's huge. Yeah. Oh, you guys can be in top. You guys, if you guys can get those games, that's definitely.
Yeah, we could be. They could be top 10, top 12, and then by that point, then you're getting into that college football playoff discussion.
Yeah.
This is my point to this. My point to this was this: I love now that the heritage teams in college football are relevant again. I love that Florida State's relevant. I love that Miami's relevant. I love that Michigan. I love that Nebraska is relevant again. I miss those days. Those were the heydays for me of college football. Because honestly, I didn't give a shit about Boise State. I didn't give a shit about Idaho or these schools that I have no interest in whatsoever. I love the heritage schools. Give me that matchup all the time between Auburn and Oklahoma. That's a showdown for me. I want those games. So for me, I'm glad to see that, and maybe it's because it's NIL, maybe it's because the power conferences, whatever it might be. And I'm not a fan of the NIL because I think it's gotten a little out of control, but I love the fact that I'm getting to see the matchups that when we were growing up, and I'm dating myself because I'm older than you, but when I grew up, those are the matchups that I got to see. I got to see Stanford go on the road to play Tennessee. I loved that growing up. So I'm excited about the idea that we're getting these early season matchups now again between teams that normally we haven't seen maybe in the last 5 to 10 years.
I am nipping at the heels of next week's game. Obviously, if FSU should do their job this week, it's Virginia. UM is on a bye week this week. The FSU Miami game in a week and a half.
Oh,
you have no idea how pumped. Steve, It is my favorite sports rivalry ever.
I get it. And there was a time when like the entire state of Florida, it's like civil war.
Yes.
If you're depending on what side of the aisle you're on in that game.
Yeah. I was born into that. I was born into when I got to college football in 1990, 1991, that's what I watched those wide rights.
That was the game.
Yeah. He had two of them.
Yeah, that was the matchup in the early 90s. So I understand that. I understand that completely.
So I cannot wait.
So that's for me. That's where I stand right now as college football. Go ahead.
No. What I do like about this season, though, and obviously the playoff adds this kind of dynamic. You really can't pinpoint a clear-cut team or two teams. Like I can see a scenario. I'm looking at the AP right now. I can see a scenario of upwards of 10 teams or 12 teams, even more, that can have a realistic shot at winning a national championship because of how the playoff works now.
One team that I'm convinced is gonna fall apart here in the next few weeks, and it's nothing to do with the team itself, but can we finally put away the Arch Manning thing for a year? Let's give him a year, because the Arch Manning thing in Texas. It's rough. This is a sharp learning curve for that young man, and it's going to take him another year, and that's okay. Just let him figure out what he wants to be when he grows up first.
And they are fading in the polls too. Like a little bit, even though they win the last 3 games, they're fading slowly. So it puts more pressure. It puts more pressure into like these big games that have coming up. They have to win, but it hasn't been impressive.
I think it's been also duly noted here that without Nick Saban and his money and the money that he brought in, Alabama's not the same Alabama as they used to be. That's a different program now without Nick Saban and his minions.
I will say, though, they have recovered pretty well since the Florida State loss, which helps us out because that makes them win look much better. We're clearly out of Saban era now, clearly. But I will say that this week, they have a good chance this week to say, hey, that was a slip-up. We're playing Georgia this week in Georgia. You win in Georgia on Saturday, that absolves.
You're back in the conversation. Yes. But it does feel different there. It feels different than it did in years past with Saban.
Yeah. I mean, Cale DeBoer, good coach. He ain't Nick Saban. That's what's clear. That's what's clear.
Right.
So if I ask you right now, less than a week ago to the season ends, give me percent of chances you think that your Dodgers repeat. You've been complaining a lot on this podcast on the Dodgers and what they're not doing.
Okay, I've drawn up. Me and Jordan actually had this conversation today. Mm-hmm. I've drawn up the scenario by which the Dodgers navigate their way through the wild card round, divisional round, National League Championship Series, getting to the World Series. We've drawn up a scenario by which the Dodgers starting rotation consists of Yamamoto, Glasnow, Snell, and Sheehan, I believe I put on there. The bullpen, the bulk innings go to Kershaw and Ohtani.
Mm-hmm.
And one other guy whose name I can't remember right now, but because there's 7. And then you have the rest of the bullpen, which cannot, under any circumstance, I don't care how well he throws the next 72 hours, cannot under any circumstances include Tanner Scott, who could screw up a wet dream because the way he's blown 10 saves this season.
Right.
But I've drawn up that scenario, and I say this because, if you get through, if it's 3 versus 6, Dodgers get the 3. That means the Dodgers play, and I say this, EJ, I love you. You're one of my dear friends. If we get the Mets or the Reds, we're going to beat them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Come on. We can't pitch.
You're not beating the Dodgers in the 3 games.
No, of course not.
In the
No, hell no.
Okay.
Yeah.
If it's the Mets or the Reds, we get past them. Then 4 versus 5 ends up being San Diego versus Chicago. Padres are going to beat the Cubs. Okay. So now the National League West, which in my mind is the best division in baseball.
I agree with that.
You have 4 teams above 500 in this division.
Yeah.
4 teams going into the final week of the season that were above 500. San Francisco, Arizona, LA, and San Diego. 4 teams above 500, most competitive division in baseball. Okay. That means that now you got 3 Dodgers, 4 Padres. 4 plays 1. That's Philadelphia versus San Diego, Milwaukee. That's San Diego versus Milwaukee, LA versus Philly. We can beat Philly. San Diego can beat Milwaukee. We can't win the National League playing Philadelphia or Milwaukee. We can't. We've been swept by Milwaukee. We were swept this season by Milwaukee. And I think Philadelphia might be the most complete team, hitting and pitching wise, in the entire National League.
When healthy, yeah.
When healthy. But there starting to get to be some signs. Aaron Nola's a little dinged up, and there's some issues there. But those are the 2 most complete. That's the most complete team in the National League. But the path to the World Series means we have to get San Diego to win some. They have to win a series. I hate relying on that because we'll crush San Diego, because San Diego is our little bitch, and that's how we get back to the World Series.
I agree with you. I think
that's how we get back there. And if you remember last year, the Dodgers had a completely patchwork rotation getting to the World Series. I mean, they were having bullpen games against the Mets, for God's sake. That's how they were winning games. So I think there's okay. So you asked the question, what is the percentage? 10% chance the Dodgers win the World Series.
I do think if they get to the National League, because I agree with you, the challenge is win the National League. Once they get to the World Series, it's a piece of cake. I don't think anyone in the
Whoever wins the National League wins it all.
Yeah, I agree.
But I'm still
Yankees,
saying
Astros.
I don't buy the Yankees because, again, their pitching rotation's not much. I don't buy the Astros because I'm probably biased, I guess. I don't know. Maybe I'm still a little bitter about 2017. But I just don't buy the Astros because I don't buy their ability to hit the ball in pressure situations. I don't buy Seattle because it's just 1 or 2 guys. I don't buy Detroit or Cleveland because they're going to murder each other just trying to get out of the regular season. And I will say this, like, as the only team in the National League that I don't mind if they won would be Cincinnati, because I love Terry Francona. I do. I adore Terry Francona. I think he's a god.
I do too.
And I'd love to see him get a World Series. I would. But just not against the Dodgers.
He has 2 already, though, in Boston.
I know, but I love that guy. I love that guy.
I like
Terry Francona to me. Now, the larger question will be this. Dodgers get knocked out in the first round.
Uh-oh.
You just won a World Series a year ago. Dodgers get knocked out in the first round.
That's a massive swing.
LA's a fickle community. Baseball is a fickle sport. Does Dave Roberts get canned?
No. But I will say this much: in a real world, like he's not even in a hot seat. In LA, he might be in a hot seat because of that.
In LA, he's going to be on the hot seat, and I've got one name of a guy who could be that, who could take over. Oral Hershiser.
Uh-oh. Where's he now?
Oral Hershiser could run that team.
He
wants the job. He's a Dodger announcer. He's a Dodger broadcaster.
Okay.
He wants that job. He wants the job.
I won't go so far. I won't.
Go ahead.
No, I won't go so far as to say he's fired if the first round, exit does happen, which I doubt it's happening anyway. But I think he'll be in the hot seat pretty quickly. That's a wake up. That's a wake up call.
I think there's going to be that. I think that discussion is going to happen. I'll throw the question to you, even though you're the host, and I apologize for doing that.
No, there's nothing wrong with that.
American League, National League MVP. American League MVP is obvious. It's Cal Raleigh. Dodgers are up 1-0 on the Diamondbacks. National League MVP. National League MVP. Is it Schwarber or is it Ohtani?
My gut says Schwarber, but you can.
Common sense tells you Ohtani, though.
Right. I mean,
because Shohei Ohtani has done something that only one other player in the history of Major League Baseball has done, and that is hit 50 home runs and record a strikeout. That other player was Babe Ruth.
Yeah. So you're saying
That's
Babe Ruth
it.
was Asian now. Babe Ruth was Asian now. There you go.
That's where the conversation starts and ends.
Yeah.
Is that Babe Ruth and Shohei Ohtani are the only players in Major League history to hit 50 home runs in a season and have a strikeout.
So I'm gonna apply some logic that I use only for basketball and football into baseball, although it shouldn't matter in baseball because it's different type of sport. This is where the wins and losses kind of play an effect. So Phillies was a better team this year than LA. Now that shouldn't matter, but because
it's a valid thing. It's a valid thing.
No, but I've seen MVPs. Am I not mistaken? Didn't Matt Kemp win MVP? You know, he got a terrible 1 year.
Well, Miguel Cabrera won the MVP 1 year.
That's what I'm saying. So I mean, yeah. So I can see a scenario where a guy wins MVP, even though his team was like less than what they were last year.
No, I get it. I get the argument, but I'm not suggesting that Schwarber is not one of the most logical choices. He is. What he's done this season has been remarkable. But when Schwarber takes the hill and goes 6 innings in a couple of games, let's have that conversation.
Yeah.
Put Kyle Schwarber on the mound for 6 innings. Tell me
that's
what
a good point. It's a great point. It's a fantastic point. So we also got the announcement last week. Clayton Kershaw will be retiring at the end of the year. Would you say he's the best pitcher in the last 15 years in baseball? We have that debate.
I think he's the best pitcher. I think he's the best lefty in the last 15 years.
Okay.
And I think he's the best regular season pitcher for the Dodgers in the last 15 years.
He's Peyton Manning pitching.
Postseason record, not so much.
Yeah.
But it was funny. We were talking about the rotation and where you're going to put guys in the rotation for the Dodgers in the postseason. Didn't it seem a little odd that you have the Clayton Kershaw goodbye ceremony with 7 games left? I mean, I get it was their last weekend of home games in regular season, but Kershaw's still going to play for the Dodgers in the playoffs. You can do something nice for him.
That's what I'm saying. I don't get that.
I think the reason is because Kershaw may not be the starting pitcher for the Dodgers in the playoffs. Kershaw may be relegated to a bullpen role. Kershaw may be relegated to being a bulk innings guy who's going to come out of the bullpen and pitch innings 3 through 7. That's why I think they did that way.
In fact, when I saw that initially, when I saw that they were announcing like this, that's what I assumed. I was like, okay, well, he's going to play in the playoffs, so why are you announcing that now? But yeah, I took it that way too. Also, initially,
because they're not committing to him to being a starting pitcher in the playoffs. Because if you look at his postseason record, why on earth would you? Because he vomits on himself in the postseason for the most part. I did think it was a mistake for the Dodgers to not pursue Walker Buehler when the Red Sox kind of let him go. I think it was a mistake because Buehler pitches well in cold weather. And we're going to have to go to Milwaukee. We're going to have to go to Philadelphia. We're going to have to go to New York. Buehler pitches well in those situations. And it's unfortunate that we couldn't bring him back just for that, if nothing else, because he's the guy that you see at the end of Game 5 beating the Yankees, winning the World Series last year.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So I thought that was a mistake. But it's the same thing with any team in Major League Baseball. When one thing is going well, one thing is going average, and one thing is going to hell. You've got great starting pitching. You've got decent hitting. You've got a terrible bullpen. 60 days ago, it was terrible hitting, great relief pitching, terrible starting pitching. It's amazing how a 162 game season changes so dramatically from game 1 to game 50 to game 100 to game 162. And that's why you have now the greatest weekend coming up in baseball in recent years, where you've got 3 division races, the American League East, the American League Central, and the National League West, in which the top 2 teams are separated by less than 2 games. That's phenomenal. You don't see that in the NBA. You don't see that in the NHL. Whenever you watch the NHL,
well, no, you know why too. Also, you know why too. Also, they don't. Those leagues don't really prioritize divisional titles.
No, they don't. They just prioritize getting to the playoffs.
Am I wrong
You
for
know?
am I wrong for missing that? I say it all the time too. Also, I miss the days when I was growing up as a kid. Sports was so majestic and royalty to me that if you won a divisional championship, regardless of what sport it felt like a big deal. It's like a big deal.
It should be. Like when the Dodgers have won the West 12 of the last 13 years.
Yeah.
Think about that. I mean, that's something the Yankees do, you know?
Right.
That's something the Yankees did back in the 20s and 30s and 40s.
Yeah.
You know, so it's kind of amazing that we don't recognize the division. And can I just throw off the record here? Juan Soto was the most gigantic fucking mistake that New York Mets team ever made. Sorry.
I said it. I said it. I said it. I thought I said in the podcast last year. At the time, I don't think it was signed yet, though. I said, I don't mind getting Juan Soto on this roster. I don't want Juan Soto at $600 million plus.
I was so adamant as a Dodger fan when he announced he wasn't coming back to the Yankees. I'm like, I want nothing to do with him. I get how talented he is. I get it. He's a once in a generational talent. He is also a cancer, and I wanted nothing to do with him. And I mean, no offense to you. You know, I love you, but yeah, no, you can have all the Juan Soto drama you want, because that was just a mistake from day one.
Everything I feared about the pitching staff because of signing Soto is come to pass.
Yeah, has come to pass. And I will say that it still irks me to this day that we, the Dodgers, don't have a relief pitcher who has the entrance music of Edwin Diaz. I love the Edwin Diaz music intro, and it's amazing. And I hate to say that because I'm not supposed to like the Mets, but I will literally tune in if I know they're up by 2 and they're going to the 9th, and I'll literally just wait just to hear that trumpet blare. And I'm like,
I don't blame you.
God, damn that guy, you know.
Oh my God! No, it's.
But
really,
yeah,
it's
that's
really...
But as far as if I'm picking the World Series logically, Phillies Yankees.
If I'm picking it logically, I stopped to mention last year. I think Dodgers figured it out before it was all said and done. I think they'll turn it on when it's all said and done.
I think Phillies Yankees logically, but obviously, look, I want nothing more than to be just an absolute douchebag to strangers next year and have us win the World Series again. Like I've made it a point now. When out here we have a lot of bandwagon Yankees fans. I make it a point now when I go out with my wife or I go out to the gym or the store and I see a Yankees fan approaching, I'll open the door, hold it open for the Yankees fan who's approaching, let them in. They have to say thank you to me. I'm wearing my Dodgers hat. And I just look at them and smile and say, you're welcome.
Would you say baseball is the number one sport?
In my mind.
In my mind. Your personal favorite, I'm saying.
Yeah. In my mind, it's odd because like my top 3 are baseball, boxing, and horse racing.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like I can do that already. I already knew that though. So yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't get me wrong. I love football. I do. I'm not as big I like college basketball more than NBA basketball.
Of course. Mm-hmm.
I'm not big into hockey. But like I've always been a boxing fan. I loved the Canelo Crawford fight last weekend. I thought that was great.
Do you think that fight may actually influence the next resurgence of boxing? Especially now doing it on Netflix, on streaming services.
I'm hoping something inspires it. I'm hoping someone other than Logan Paul inspires it. Anyone but him.
I agree.
Anyone but that guy. Yeah.
You excited to see Tyson Mayweather next year?
Only on my PlayStation, really. I mean,
everybody swears they're not going to watch a fight until that day comes.
Well, they're going to watch the fight. They're going to watch it. Of course, they're going to watch it.
It's nostalgia. Come on. Come on.
Of course, they're going to watch the fight. Yeah. But I mean, I grew up around boxing. I grew up around boxing with my father, who covered it in New York. And I grew up with horse racing. So those are my 3 most passionate sports. And baseball, I cover it here. This is kind of a Northwest New Mexico has the Connie Mack World Series, which is a very big national amateur baseball tournament. It's one of the biggest sporting events we have, literally in the entire Southwestern United States. So I get wicked into baseball, and I study it. I marvel at it. I follow it in the winter with winter league teams, and when spring training opens, I'm already aware of the guys that are coming up on the roster. Blah blah blah. Like, yeah, I'm a nut for baseball.
Yeah. Have you been watching WNBA this year?
No, because I didn't watch it. Okay, I didn't watch it before Caitlin Clark. So why on earth would I watch it now with Caitlin Clark? I didn't care about women's basketball. I didn't care about Caitlin Clark. I watch Paige Beckers, but I won't watch Caitlin Clark. I'm just not. Look, I get that. I get that there are some pockets of society where it's popular, but it's just not. And I think we're all being sold this giant bill of goods that it's supposed to be popular and that you're cool if you watch it and you're trendy if you watch the WNBA. No, you're just wasting your time. Watch baseball instead. Damn it, Diamondbacks tied it up. You're just being trendy, and it's not even trendy. Like, it's not enjoyable to me. It's not interesting to me. It's just not something I'm fascinated about in any way.
By the way, I turned on the Mets game, put on the Reds game. Could do an extra. Pirates are up now.
Because your game is over. I mean, I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, I need Pirates. I need the Pirates to hold on. So like at least nothing changes today. In the standings.
Yeah.
So
I know,
but
it's gonna be a great weekend.
I thought I would watch more WNBA, but I have not really. Honestly, I like you. I started. Not watching it, and I'm not going to start watching it now because I just don't have any motivation to do it, honestly. And also,
I have no motivation to do it.
And honestly, dude, I got to the point in my life now as an adult that after NBA is over, even though I love baseball, it's not appointment television every day. I can see a box score and know what happened. I need that break from sports for a few months before football comes back.
You need a break. I get it. You need a break. Like, it's why it's why no one watches the UFL. It's why no one watched that god awful shit show of the UFL. Like, I'm done with football. I need 3 months away from it for a while. Yeah. Especially when all you're going to offer me are the Birmingham Brahmas, and they're no good. I don't want to watch this.
Yeah, it's like I live by that same mantra. Absence makes the heart grow fonder. If football's always in my face, I'm not going to appreciate it.
Yes.
I need a break from it.
Yeah. If I'm watching, and that's why, like when the baseball season comes to an end, it's the perfect time because then I can immerse myself in the college football. I can immerse myself in the NFL, and I'm good until February when pitchers and catchers report and we get on with our lives. And then that just goes right back to baseball again.
Yeah, totally with you. All right, last
question for you.
Go. I'm going to watch what now?
Are you going to watch the Ryder Cup this weekend?
Probably not.
Will you watch the Ryder Cup? No,
probably not.
Not a golf guy.
I started appreciating a little more in the last year, and maybe I'll tune in and just see what's going on. But when I sit there and watch the entire thing, no, not happening. My time is.
I'll watch an hour.
Yeah, that's more. That's
an hour of it just to giggle at it.
That's 1 more hour more than I've given it the Ryder Cup in the last 10 years. So there you go. That's what I'm saying. I'm just. I mean, I follow golf. Yes, I do follow golf, but I don't watch the events like that. Like I watch the final rounds and stuff like when it's to the end, but I'm not committing the entire weekend for that. I'm just not doing it.
No,
I'd rather watch TV and TV shows and movies. Yeah. Speaking of which, final thing, it's out here. We always do this every time on the show. What are we watching, Steve?
Okay, so I have now kind of gotten away from the TV thing. There are 2 shows that are currently airing, one on HBO and one on FX that I'm watching. The one on FX just started last week. It's a show called Lowdown. Ethan Hawke, Peter Dinklage, about a small town reporter in Oklahoma following kind of a country story It's an interesting show. I haven't. It's 2 episodes in, still developing, but it's nice. And then Task on HBO.
I heard about that one actually. Who was that? Who was I heard that was talking about that show on the podcast? They enjoyed that show. Somebody was, but yeah.
That's worthy Sunday night viewing. But I've become more of a movie guy. My wife and I will take the kids out to the movies, or sometimes on her days off, we will go to movies. And what I have to say right now is, there's a home run.
Yeah, 2 runs. Michael Bush. Yeah, I got the alert.
Horror movies, and I use that term because they're not really horror movies anymore, but the suspenseful mystery movies. There have been some in the last year or so that have been utterly amazing.
Really?
Weapons was brilliant. The Long Walk is brilliant. I'll go back a year and a half to a movie starring Nicolas Cage called Long Legs, which was outstanding. The Jordan Peele movies, Us and You and Get Out, have been phenomenal. There's a different age now to the horror movies thing. Sinners should be the best picture of the year without a shadow of a doubt. It was outstanding in every way, shape, and form. It had everything. It had mystery. It had drama. It had sex, because Haley Steinfeld.
Josh Allen's wife now, right? Yeah.
Josh Allen's. God, hey, give it up to Josh Allen. He may not win a Super Bowl, but goddamn, no. Sinners was amazing. It had music. It had everything. So the horror movie genre has changed a lot. Now we've gotten away from the recycled Nightmare on Elm Street Part 86 and a reimagination of Halloween and, Jason number 27 or whatever. We've gotten away from that, where we've actually gotten some creativity in our horror movies or suspense movies or whatever, and they're really, really good. Weapons, if you haven't seen it yet, was absolutely diabolically beautiful.
And that's on where now?
Sinners. It's still in theaters. It'll be. I'm sure it's on some streaming thing now. Okay. The Long Walk just came out like a week ago, based on a Stephen King book. It is extraordinarily good. A little bit on the personal side for me, but you'll understand that when you see it. But it's beautiful. It's really well done. Long Legs, which is a Nicolas Cage movie, which was outstanding. There have been a couple of other horror movies or suspense movies that have been really good. The Last Final Destination movie was good. There have been a few that I'm glad to see that, because I grew up a horror movie fan. We all did as kids. The Nightmare on Elm Streets, the Halloweens, the Friday the 13th. We all grew up watching those, and it just became so bad. Like the last great director was Rob Zombie. And that was 20 years ago. But now the Jordan Peele have really come up with. I'm dying to see him.
Okay.
The movie about the football player.
Yeah.
I'm dying to see that one. That looks really good. So I'm excited about that. So that's kind of what I've been watching, and I feel bad because I've actually said Nicolas Cage and good movie in the same sentence, which is odd. But that Long Legs thing, not a lot of people saw it, but I'm sure it's on a streaming platform now. Find it, because it is diabolically good.
Yeah, I'll check it out definitely. I actually enjoy. I haven't done it in a little bit though, but Tuesdays they do $5 Tuesdays here, and Tuesdays my wife is at work, my kids are at school, so I have a little window. So sometimes I go to movies, for like by myself for 2 hours, just to.
I get it. I do the same thing. I get it.
I used to love going to movies.
Check out Weapons. Check out Weapons. Check out The Long Walk.
So,
I think you'll come away. I think you'll come away pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, I started watching Peacemaker.
Okay, and
I like it with John Cena. It's really good.
I'm not. Yeah, I have to admit, like the whole John Cena thing got weird when he turned bad in the WWE, because that was bad.
He's good. He's good again. He's good again.
I know he's good again now, because that was so badly done by the WWE. I think. No offense to Paul Triple H Levesque. He's not doing a very good job running WWE. I don't think he is.
I will say the honeymoon's over there.
Yeah.
The turn of sub was good. The first month leading up to the Mania match was good, and then after that everything went to shit. And then they this is fast turn back to babyface, which made no sense at all. But it's funny watching him. You know, you see the hustle with respect thing and the clean cut guy in WWE. You watch his shows like complete 180, cussing and fucking sex crazed and all this crap. It's insane, bro. It's insane seeing John Cena in that role. I'm like, oh my god. So who are you, John? Which one are you really? You acting both. Which one is?
All right, I'll check that out then. So
I will check that out. But it's really good. Ray raunchy. I like it a lot. My wife's watching it with me again. So yeah, I love that one. Did you see Dallas Cowboys documentary?
I did. I didn't. I'm happy to say that absolutely none of it surprised me at all.
Nothing at all. I love those. I love these stories, dude. Michael Irvin in the White House and the cocaine.
No, I mean they're fascinating.
All that
stories,
shit.
But I mean, I think you know when the Cowboys were big, when that era was taking place, the Cowboys, I was in my mid-20s at the time, but it seemed obvious. Like there's no way this could be sustainable. There's no way that all this shit could be sustainable with all the personalities and all the egos in the room with the Michael Irvins, the Troy Aikmans, the Emmett Smiths, and the head coach Jimmy Johnson, all those personalities. There's no way that it was sustainable. And then when you watched it absolutely fall apart, it just seemed so obvious. When by the time Barry Switzer got there, and that just made it even more of a shit show, you know. And so I think that Jerry Jones still is clamoring for those days that you can push around. Those don't exist anymore.
No.
Those coaches don't exist. You're not pushing these guys around anymore.
Yeah, but
so you can't do that.
Money getting paid now. But all the money getting paid now, you can't do it. You can't do it. And I feel like even with that documentary, as much as they shared on that documentary, I feel like I feel like they probably shared half of what really happened. Because I'm sure there's more shit happened there.
I'm sure there's so much more to that story that we didn't get. You know, much like I think that was the thing I liked the most about the Michael Jordan documentary about the Bulls, The Last Dance, because I think that one you got all of Michael Jordan in that one. You got to understand everything about that team and that player and those relationships with that guy. That one I think got more in depth than this one did with the Cowboys.
No, I agree with that. I agree with 100%. Yeah, but I enjoyed it. I thought it was great. Like I said, Jerry Jones
since he got beat 4-3.
Yeah, I just saw the final. I just watched the last out here. For the time being, and we need you guys to do your job tonight against the Diamondbacks. So
well, let's see where we're at right here. I don't
know what I'm saying?
Well, let's see.
I know.
No, trust me. The minute I'm done with this podcast, trust me, I'm going right to this game. I guarantee you that much. Right now,
by the way, Cal Rowley
it's 1-1. 1-1, bottom of the second.
There you go. And Kyle Rowley hit another home run, 59.
I know.
So that's crazy. That
he's going to get 60.
Easy. Yeah.
Oh, other easy. He's going to get 60.
Other than that, I'm
fine with that. And he gets 60, which is amazing, you know, and he deserves all the props for that, you know. And anyone who wants to tell me that Aaron Judge should get the MVP, no. Cal Raleigh did something that a catcher doesn't do. Catchers don't hit 59 home runs. Period. That's it.
And
this guy did that.
Take that team to the playoffs. On top of that,
yeah. So no, there's no way it's not Cal Raleigh. There's absolutely no way it's not. Yeah. Are you okay with the rule about the automated replay for balls and strikes next year?
So how's that going to work exactly?
Like so technically now you're not allowed to argue balls and strikes. You're allowed to argue pretty much everything else, but now you can argue balls and strikes next year.
So
there's going to be a camera. There's going to be a camera set up behind the umpire that's going to be able to tell you whether it was a ball or a strike or not.
So I do appreciate the progression of getting it right. I'm with you on that. Trust me. At the same time, we're going to learn very quickly. We're going to miss the human element of the game.
I agree. I understand umpires are making more mistakes. Well, let me rephrase that. Umpires make mistakes. They've been making mistakes since the game was invented. The only reason we know about those mistakes is because television networks put that stupid rectangle across the home plate now. That's the only reason we know it now. If you take away the rectangle, we don't know any better, or at least we didn't care as much.
Yeah, totally agree.
So I think the idea of having the replay thing, whereas it's a nice technical advancement, I think it's going to fundamentally alter how umpires call games, because now they're going to feel like they are being watched, and now they're going to be more protective, or they're going to be more, conservative in their calls. And I think that's going to change. I think there's going to be a game. There's going to be a game where it's going to come down to a missed call that's going to get overturned, and it's going to change the entire game, and everyone's going to be up in arms. So just be ready for that next year.
Oh, absolutely. Other than that, I've been watching documentaries on Netflix, like, the quarterbacks documentary. Season 2 was really good. I started the receivers one.
I watched the Menendez brothers one.
I gotta watch that, dude. It's on the list. Did you enjoy it?
I watched the Menendez brothers one, and I remain even more convinced that those two were just a bunch of raging psychopaths. So
what, you think they should be in jail?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. I'm sorry. You murdered your mother and father, then reloaded and murdered them some more.
Right. Yeah.
No, you should be in jail for the rest of your lives. And anyone who says different is insane.
I remember that case as a kid, because that was a 1990-ish, 91, I think it was.
It was 92. It was right before OJ. Yeah.
Yeah, so I remember that trial. I remember that the whole thing, and not understanding it as a kid, but at the same time, it was like it's a big deal. Like another one of those core memories. You remember the Menendez brothers? You know what I mean? So yeah, that was I gotta watch that. That's on the list of things, dude. I am again.
It's a good documentary. You'll like that. Yeah.
It's so overwhelming to catch on content, and then right now this time of year is the worst part, because sports, baseball playoffs starts next week, NFL, college football. NBA is back very soon. So is NHL. Content overload right now, brother.
Yeah.
It's too much. And
the reality is we have shit to do. I've got games to cover. You've got podcasts to do. You've got shows to do. You've got kids to raise. You got a wife. We all have things to do. Thank God for streaming devices that we can actually watch things at our leisure. We don't have to rely on going to a video store or renting something or whatever. But yeah, there's just so much. There's so many things to do, so it just makes it difficult. But we will find our time when we can. We will find our times for those things when we get them.
Yeah. Anyway, Steve, anything you want to
plug? Sure. Check out my newspaper's website, tricityrecordnm.com. I cover a plethora of sporting events here in Northwest New Mexico. And if you ever find yourself, why would you, coming to Northwest New Mexico? But if you ever do, you can check out the best in high school sports here in the area. We got a big matchup in college football this weekend. The in-state rivalry between UNM and New Mexico State coming up on Saturday. Go Lobos or go Aggies. I could care less. So that's fun. And you can check out our website at tricityrecordnm.com. And check out, if you're a horse racing fan, you can check out the Breeders' Cup coming up in about a month and a half, which will be happening at Del Mar. So you can check that out coming up soon. I'll start doing some stuff on that, covering that for our local paper and some other outlets as well. And that's about it.
Yeah, I'll tell you, struck out. I had the game on now, the Dodgers game on now. So I just turned it on now. Since I just turned the Dodgers game now. I have it on now, the Dodgers game.
I can't watch it here because we live too close to Arizona, so I can't watch it.
Oh, blacked out?
I have to listen to it on the MLB app.
Well, I am a Dodgers fan for this series, and I'll tell you what, there are scenarios where I root for the Dodgers. If they play the Phillies, they play the Yankees.
I get it. I mean, look, like I said, I'm still saying 10%, but if it's the best division in baseball, and what this says more than anything about the Dodgers is remember how at the beginning of the season, oh my God, how many games are they going to win? They're going to win 115 games. They're going to win 110 games. They're going to run away with things. Baseball, more than football, more than basketball, more than hockey, more than any other sport. Baseball is the hardest sport to win a championship in because it's so long. It's the longest grind you can imagine.
It's so long,
and
the team and it's 9 players in a lineup, and they all got to be engaged somehow.
Yeah,
it's weird.
It's just it's a weird thing that happens when a team goes into a slump. You can tell, and they all get into a slump. There's a theory: 162 game season. Every team's going to win 54. Every team's going to lose 54. It's what you do with the other 54. Unless you're the Rockies, in which case you're not going to win 54. Unless you. But that's the beauty of baseball. That's the beauty of baseball. It's what you do with the other 54 games. So
I love that perspective, though.
Yeah, it's what you do with those other games, and that's the beauty of it. And it's the longest season. It's a grind, and it's hard to win. It's just hard, and that's why you don't have a team. That's why you don't have a team really running away with anything. Okay, yeah, you've got a couple of teams that are winning divisions big. You got Philadelphia winning their division big. You got a couple of teams that are 5 or 6 games up. But again, you've got half the league, half the divisions in the league that the division races are going to be decided in the next 96 hours.
Yep.
After 6 months of this, after 6 months, they're coming down to the last 4 days of the season. That's extraordinary.
And it's the best time of year to watch it now, too. I love it. It's great. Good job. Okay, 2 men on. Bet's going to third.
Nah?
All right.
Men in the third?
Men in the corner. Freeman got a base hit. So men in the corner.
Go Dodgers.
So, Steve, good job as always. Go watch a game. And go Dodgers, definitely. Yes. We need your help.
Yes. And we will do this soon, I hope.
Definitely will do it.
It's funny because I'm actually doing Jordan's show on Friday.
Are you really?
Yeah.
Nice. Okay.
So I'm getting my radio fix in again a little bit this week.
That's good. Yeah. I promise you, I'll make sure this time around I'll have you on the show way more often than just once a year, twice a year. You know what I mean? You do
what you have to do. I watch you all the time when you're doing your daytime gig with the Palm Beach Kennel Club. Is that what it is? What is that?
That's correct.
Is that what it's called?
It's correct.
Mm-hmm. I watch it a lot, and I tune in there, and I enjoy that very much because honestly, the first time I saw Palm Beach Kennel Club, I honestly thought you were going to talk dog racing. That's what I honestly thought you were going to be doing.
I mean, it was dog track for a long time. It was.
I know.
Now they're no longer racing.
Believe me, I remember. I used when I was a gambler. I used to bet it. Trust me, I know.
Steve, good job as always, brother.
Thanks so much for the time.
You got it, man.
Thanks so much.
You got it.
Appreciate it.